My name is Scott Annan, and I'm a professor of mathematics at California State University, Fullerton. And during the fall 2024 semester, I am going to be teaching differential equations and linear algebra. It is a bread and butter topic for me. You'll notice that I was one of the authors of this textbook, along with a former Cal State Fullerton professor. And I absolutely love talking about differential equations and linear algebra. So I'm looking forward to working with you all this semester. If you're watching this video right now, I'm assuming that you're either already enrolled in my class or planning to get enrolled within the beginning of the semester. What I'd like to do in this video, which is the perfect place for you to start your journey with this class, is to give you an overview of the syllabus, the timeline, as well as the Canvas course webpage that we're going to be using to sort of operate everything that goes on in the class. So I'm going to take a moment here and share my screen so that I can show you what the homepage of our Canvas course page looks like. And here it is right here. You'll notice that I've pulled up section 5 of this class, but I'm also teaching section 7, two different sections, one of them in the morning at 10 a.m. and one of them in the afternoon at 2 p.m. They both meet for 2 hours. They're both in the same classroom. They're both going to be covering the same content day in and day out. So let's take just a moment and go ahead and open up the syllabus for the class so that I can go over some of the highlights about how this class is going to run. Hopefully you can see this on your screen. What you have here at the top is the course information, which includes my name, the class number, the class time, the classroom, and also a link to a Zoom classroom. And that is because I will be recording my class lectures. Even though we will be meeting in person for most of the semester, I will record every lecture that I give in Zoom and then post it to a link after class. I also have both a physical office and a Zoom office, and you're welcome to visit me in either location at any time. My office hours are listed here. You can see that I've said that they will be both in person and in Zoom, whatever is more convenient for you. And you'll notice that I have a lot of office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, kind of interwoven between my classes, but I'll also have some hours most of the time on Sunday nights and Monday nights starting at 8 p.m. You're always welcome to reach out to me to set up a different time to meet if you need, or to shoot me an email to just ask your questions that way as well. However, I strongly encourage you to take advantage of my office hours. I have a very large office as well as a study space outside of my office where students are allowed to hang out at any time of the day or the night, any day of the week. It's open, it's there for you to use and hang out. And if I happen to not be in my office any particular time, you can always hang out there. And there's a good chance that I'll be coming back sooner rather than later, and you can ask me questions then. So do take advantage of these office hours, as well as email if you'd like to reach out to me. I already mentioned the textbook. Please do make sure you have the 4th edition of this book. It's been around for quite a few years now, so you can probably find copies of it in any format that you like, brand new all the way down to old used copies, or an electronic copy, anything like that would be fine. I also happen to have several copies of it in my office. So if you don't want to bring your book to campus and you'd like to just hang out and do some homework at my office hours, I've got extra books there that you can borrow as well. The course description, I'll say a little bit more about that later on. But just so you know how the class is going to be graded, we will have quite a bit of homework. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. There will be homework assignments due often 2 times a week, certainly at least once a week. The only respites will tend to be right when we're getting ready for the exams, of which we will have 3 midterms and a final exam. Now, of those 5 components of your grade, I'm going to upweight whichever of those 5 parts is your personal highest scoring part and make it count an extra 5% weight in this grade calculation. And while I do that, I'm going to take that 5% away from whichever of these components is your weakest of the parts of your grade. So if you have a really strong, I don't know, final exam, but your first midterm was weak, then instead of counting your first midterm for 19% of your grade, I'll only count it for 14% of your grade. And instead, I'll count your final exam, if that was your strongest component, I'll count it for 38% of your grade instead of 33% of your grade. And this tends to make a few percentage points of a difference at the end of the semester, but just be aware you won't see that difference as you're checking your grades throughout this course, because I won't be able to do this reweighting process until we've actually completed everything, including the final exam. I also reserve the right to raise or lower your grade by just a couple of 2 to 3 percentage points, basically to deal with borderline grade cases if I need to, based on qualitative things that don't really show up in the numbers. This would be things like showing up to office hours if you needed to, participating in class, being in class, or showing improvement over the course of the semester, or a really strong final exam. Things like that can give me the perfect excuse to bump a student up to the next grade level higher if they were pretty close, but the numbers just didn't quite get them there. Speaking of the numbers, I do have a grading scale here at this top of this second page here, and I will stick with this scale. If I need to curve the grades or make any adjustments, I'll do that on the raw scores, but I won't actually like change these percentages that you see here in the syllabus. This is going to be my hard and firm grading scale for the class. Notice it's a little more gentle than a normal 90, 80, 70 scale that you may be familiar with. You'll notice here you only need 87.5 to get to an A minus. You only need 75 to get to a B minus, and so on. Passing, for most people, it's a C minus. It would be 62.5%. Okay, the dates of our exams, I've got those here. It's the next thing on the syllabus. So be sure to mark these early so you know when they're coming up. Of course, we'll be talking about the exams more as they get a little bit closer. On the day of the exam, by the way, you'll have the entire class period to do the exam. There won't be anything else going on. I'll just give you the free time to take the exam. All right, my attendance policy, other than maybe right at the very beginning of the semester, I won't really be taking attendance very much. I'm going to try to learn your names a little bit with that and so on. But for the most part, I don't take attendance, but I do hold you responsible for anything that you've missed. Remember, I am going to record all of what goes on in class. So if you happen to miss a lecture, right, you can still see the lecture. It won't be ideal because the quality of the camera recording isn't going to be as good as if you were watching it in person. And it'll also be delayed, obviously. You're not going to see it immediately. I'll try to get the recordings up the same day as the class, however. But in any case, you will be responsible for anything that goes on during the class. So be sure that to keep up with that. And I really, the only reason I'm recording these videos and posting them is just in case a student either wants to go back and review a lecture later on down the line in the semester, or in case of that rare emergency where it's just impossible to make it to campus and you just had to miss the class. But this should not be something that is regularly abused. I don't want people missing class all the time, say, oh, I'll just watch the videos later, and treat it almost like an online class. That's not the intention of this. And if I start to sense that people are just taking advantage of that and not coming to class, I will discontinue these Zoom recordings. But for now anyway, I'm going to start off with a positive mindset that we can do that. Okay, it's got some important dates here about adding and dropping the class and so on. I'll let you read about that. Homework, there will be a fair bit of homework this semester, generally 1 or 2 assignments every week. It will be due at 11:59 p.m. on whatever day it is due. A lot of times the homework will be due on Tuesdays or Thursdays because those are the days we have class. And in some cases, I may take time to go over some of the problems with you during class. But because I want you to have time to still mull over the problems and spend more time working on them after class, I don't make the homework due during class. So you'll be able to continue working on it after class, and you'll be submitting it into the Canvas system. You should just send in one file for your homework assignment that has all of the pages in the correct order. Don't submit multiple attachments that have to be individually opened, please. It's much better if you scan everything into one document that you then can load up. You're welcome to scan something in and then decide later that you'd like to rescan a fresher version. As long as it's before the homework deadline, there's no problem with that either. You can just overwrite the first submission and it will still get accepted and graded. I will have a grader who will be looking at your homework. That person will be checking, first of all, that you just did the problems that were assigned and made an attempt at all of the assigned problems. But also, I will have my grader pick and choose some of the problems to grade in more detail, to actually check for correctness, to see if there's any issues or any problems, and so on. I'll let my grader choose which problems he wants to grade. It's a former student of mine, actually, who took this class and did very well in the class. So I'm quite excited to have a really competent person helping me with the grading this semester. And so do your best to be neat, legible, put the pages in the correct order. Grading can be quite a big task, and it just makes my grader's life easier if you sort of follow some of the instructions that I've laid out here in the syllabus. Okay, I talked about qualitative performance already. Academic integrity, I had to put all this into the syllabus as well. Guys, just make sure that you're always submitting work that you yourself understand. It's perfectly fine to work with me, to work with other classmates, to collaborate around a whiteboard or something and solve out a problem, right? As long as what you have written down and submitted into Canvas is your own work and that you understand everything that you wrote down, rather than just copying an answer off of the internet or having your big brother math genius friend just sort of give you the answers with no explanations, right? This is what you don't want, because you're not going to learn anything that way, right? The main thing is I want you to learn this stuff, and it's ultimately going to get reflected in the exams anyway. So putting in the effort into the homework and not resorting to these quick sort of what I consider cheating approaches to doing homework will actually serve you much better in the long run. Okay, a few things on emergency procedures. And then finally, I would like to get to know everybody this semester. I have a lot of students, so I would appreciate if sometime between now and September 17th, which is about 3.5 weeks into the semester, I would really appreciate it if each of you would take just 5 minutes to come by and introduce yourself to me. You can do it with a friend as well if you would like, but I don't want the whole class. The idea here is I can learn your names much better and get to know you a little bit better if I just have a conversation kind of in a small one-on-one or two-on-one setting or something like that. So stop by my office. You can do it in Zoom or in person anytime during those first 3 weeks. If you do that, not only will you help me to learn your names and get to know each other a little bit better, I'm also going to end up dropping your lowest homework grade, and I'm also going to potentially give you the opportunity to do some extra credit quizzes. I don't have time in class to do a lot of quizzes because it just takes up too much class time, but prior to each exam, it isn't a bad idea to get an idea of what kind of questions I might be asking on the exam. So I might prepare a quiz that you can take home and work on. And if you've introduced yourself to me for 5 minutes, I might even give you some extra credit for doing that. So that is the syllabus. At the end of the syllabus and also in a separate document, you can find all of the learning goals for this class. So I won't go through this all in detail right now. There's a lot of bullet point items there. This is just a checklist of everything that we're going to learn in the 15 weeks of this semester. And it is a lot of stuff. I will not kid you about that. People are always telling me how heavy this course is in terms of the amount of content, the amount of homework, how much there is to learn and memorize and so on. I understand that. I totally do get it. It is, of course, a 4-unit course, but in some ways it feels sort of like almost more than 4 units in my view. Just from the teaching side of it, it's also a lot of work for me, but I just love the material so much, and it will bring all of you guys to a much higher level of mathematical sophistication. You're not just going to be learning how to plug and chug into formulas, right? You're going to learn strategies for solving differential equations. You're going to have a higher level of sophistication with logical thinking and how to use tools from a completely different branch of mathematics, which is linear algebra, in order to solve differential equations and systems of differential equations. I'm so excited about it. I took the time to work on an entire book. This is a big delighted to teach the class. I've done it many, many times before. And I'm just, every time I teach it, I learn something new myself. And it's a fun experience for me all over again. Okay, let me go ahead and close the syllabus for now. I also have a schedule and a time for kind of how things are going to work for the first well, for the 15 weeks of the semester, I should say. So in this document, you'll get an idea. Of course, I've reposted when the midterms are and the exams and the important dates. But this is kind of a more of a calendar breakdown of where we should be in the material, what topics on what days. And so you can kind of follow along with this to see where we're at. Don't get alarmed if I get behind a little bit. Sometimes that does happen, but I will always manage to catch up. Sometimes you can see right here, sometimes I will ask you to watch something outside of class. I have a YouTube channel and I've made a number of videos. Sometimes to help us kind of keep pace with everything, I might give you an assignment to watch something on your own so that we can then spend more time in class discussing it, practicing problems on it, and taking questions on it. So that will come up from time to time as well. But anyway, this is just a little schedule and a timeline. I'll let you look at that in more detail. You can see we're going to cover most of the first 9 chapters of the book. There are some sections we're going to skip, but for the most part, 9 chapters of the book is kind of what we're looking at. Okay, let me take a minute and talk a little bit about what you're going to find over here on the left side of the Canvas page. First of all, there is a Files link here, and you can click on the Files section, and there's a number of folders in here that are going to be useful for you. You can see I'm going to put the homework solutions in a folder, so after you've submitted your homework, I'll be releasing the solutions to that into this folder. You can certainly look at those. We'll be doing some group work from time to time during class, so I'll have you get together with 2 or 3 people in the class and talk about some problems that are maybe related to what we're doing already. Maybe they'll help you with the homework or be similar to the homework, or maybe they're just good problems that are, kind of in the heart and soul of the material that might help you to understand the material better and be better prepared for the exams. So for example, the group works, if we opened up the folder here, you see there's a bunch of group works, and these are going to be available to you anytime in the semester. You can open these up and look at them, and we'll see if this example pops up here in a second. There's usually, just like a couple problems for you to do. We will do these for maybe 15, 20 minutes at a time, maybe once or twice a week. And I also have all the solutions to the group works. So the group works won't be graded for part of your grade. They're really just a learning tool. And so I will, of course, have these solutions available to you. These are not just the raw answers. These are detailed step-by-step explanations of all of the process of getting to the solutions. So you're going to want to be looking at those solutions as well as the homework solution. In addition to that, you notice I have resources folders for all 3 midterms as well as the final exam over here. So I'll just open up the first one just so you can kind of look at it. You can see that for each exam, I'm going to have a couple of sample midterms. I'm going to have a review packet, some review session problems where I talk through some of these problems with you. So you'll have all of these things, again, together with all of the solutions to all of it. So it will all be fully solved out. You won't have to like wonder, well, what are the answers supposed to be? Okay, so definitely want to be coming to this files section pretty regularly. There's also a few special handouts from time to time that I will ask you to look at. Don't worry about this so much right now. I'll kind of let you know when there's something in here we want to look at, and I might even pull it up during class and just show you that it's there, and then you will, of course, be able to look at it anytime you want throughout the semester. For whatever reason, in the files section of Canvas, I'm not allowed to like put links to videos and stuff like that. So I actually have to go to the pages section of Canvas to do that. If I go into the pages section, you can see here I've got videos for everything. So I've got review session video for all of the exams. So you can always just turn these on and watch them. These are YouTube videos that I've made. I'm going to be posting remember I mentioned that I'll be doing recordings of our class lectures. I will post those in this class lectures folder right here. Additional videos, occasionally I'll recommend or maybe even assign you to watch some extra video from YouTube that I made. Especially if we fall a little bit behind, I might ask you to do that to try to help us to catch up a little bit. But again, you don't need to really do anything with this right now because, I'll let you know when there's some video in here that I think you should watch. I'm also going to, be emailing you things like, a request to watch a video or something. So, you're not going to miss out on any of that too badly. But you can see that most of these videos are pretty short. The 7-minute video there, an 11-minute video. Some of them are as long as maybe 25, 30 minutes, but they're generally pretty short. There's one other thing here I wanted to mention, August videos. This is actually going to be something that coincides with the first week of the semester. I am actually not going to be back in Fullerton during the first week of the semester, which is the last week of August. Instead, and because I don't want to get behind right away at the start of the semester, I'm going to have you do an assignment which will be pretty easy to get full credit for, which is to, in addition to watching this syllabus video that you're doing right now, I'm going to have you watch and take notes on several other videos that you can see down here. And if you kind of add up how long each of these videos is, it adds up to about what you would get out of a week's worth of lectures. Maybe not quite that much, but it's something close to that. So when we look at the assignments part of the Canvas page, you'll see that the very first assignment is to come in here into this August videos section in Canvas under pages and load up these various videos and watch them. And all you have to do is take notes on them and submit them into Canvas, and you're going to get a 100% right off the bat to start off the semester, which would be great. So let me go ahead and point out the assignments section of Canvas here. The assignments are kind of already up. You see the first one is that August video assignment. And then the first real assignment where you'll be actually doing some problems is assignment number 1. By the way, the due dates are all listed here. So the first assignment is going to be due on Tuesday, September 3rd. And in each assignment, I have some required problems as well as some recommended problems. Now, in the solutions to the homework that I'm going to post in Canvas, I will have the solutions there for all of these problems, both the required and the recommended ones. But you are only required to turn in the required ones. Those are the ones that my grader will be choosing from to make the grading of your homework. The recommended ones, actually, I'm going to tell you a little story here. Once upon a time, all of these problems were part of what I required. I've gotten feedback over the years that, the homework is just pretty heavy. And, as much as I love all the problems, it's just a genuine love of the material, really, on my part. It's not intended to make you guys miserable, but, I get excited about the problems, and I have too many of them I want you to do, and I know you guys are busy. So I had to sort of restrain myself and pull back a little bit. So I'm going to experiment this semester with kind of breaking the problems into 2 camps. The required ones, Presumably, those would be the first ones you should do. But then in addition, especially if you're struggling with any of the required ones or with any particular section of the material, I'm going to highly recommend the recommended problems as well. You don't have to turn those in. They won't be graded, but you'll maybe want to think about trying some of those and then checking them against the solutions or asking me if I could help you with some of those. Okay, so every assignment will have required problems as well as recommended problems. It's only the required problems that you actually need to submit into Canvas that my grader will be looking for. Okay, obviously you can keep track of your grades here. And I think I've gone over most of the sections of our Canvas page. Announcements, I generally send out announcements through emails rather than posting them in the announcements section, but there is a welcome letter that I kind of wrote up for the first week of the semester. This kind of explains what I was talking about a few minutes ago, that I'm not going to be in town for the first week of the semester. So we're going to do that sort of asynchronously through the use of my videos and my YouTube channel. And I talk in there about, sort of what to do about office hours at the beginning of the semester and stuff like that. The second week of the semester is a little bit up in the air. I don't have any videos for you to watch for the second week yet. It's possible I'll be gone a little bit of the second week as well, in which case I will let you know, and I'll probably have some videos for you to watch for that part as well. But I'm not sure about that yet. If possible, I'll try to be back in person because I know that that's always much better anyway. But anyway, I talk about that a little bit in this welcome letter. So feel free, I guess I can open it up here. It's just a short little thing. I just wrote up a little bit of information about some of the same stuff that's in the syllabus, really. So, okay, well, you guys have taken the first big step, which is to go ahead and watch this syllabus video. I think I have covered all of the highlights of the semester. Guys, be prepared for a lot of work. It's not my choice. Our department has a syllabus, and if I don't want to get fired from teaching the class, I've got to make sure that the entire syllabus gets covered. But I promise you, I will be working very, very hard as well. I always do. And that's because I really love what I do. And I love seeing my students learn this material. It's really a step up in maturity from your basic calculus courses. This is really a chance to take that next step mathematically into something where a lot more of your sort of logical, critical thinking skills are going to come into play, and where we're going to really learn how two seemingly different branches of mathematics can somehow be intimately linked to each other. It's really, really awesome. And in fact, we're going to start with differential equations, then we're going to go over to linear algebra for the middle part of the semester. The best part of this class is the last few weeks when we finally get to go back to differential equations at the end of the semester and actually use all of the linear algebra that we've been learning in the meantime to help us do it. And we'll realize then that we have come a long way. Like, we would not have been able to do the stuff that we're going to be doing in the last few weeks of the semester at the start of the semester. And that'll be pretty obvious. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I hope that you are too. I hope that you're coming to this with a good attitude, ready to do some work, just like I am. But if you have any questions, if you have concerns, if you're not sure if this is the right time or the right situation for you to take this on, by all means, I'm happy to talk to you at any point. I always want to help to make this a good experience for everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon in person as we get underway with the fall 2024 semester. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.